I got home late tonight, it being Friday. Not because I have a social life, I was checking up on my Alzheimer's-stricken mother. She's staying in one of those homes for the old and senile. But I'm drifting off. Anyway, I walked upstairs to check my Facebook. I sit down at my desk, which is against the wall. My bed is pretty much right behind me on the other side of the wall. At the far side of the room is my closet. I sat down and booted up my ancient laptop. Well, not exactly ancient, but just slow. While it's starting, I go over and turn off my lights. I like to have a nice bright screen, even if it isn't necessarily good for my eyes. I was just scrolling down my newsfeed when I started hearing that sort of beeping robot noise that your computer makes when your phone is too close to it. I proceeded to take my phone and toss it onto the floor, which stopped that annoying sound. I'm pretty sure by now it had been about 30 minutes or so since I had got on. I could hear the house settling. You know how you can always hear little creaks and bumps. Now I'm not really scared easily, even living by myself. It didn't have much of an effect on me. That was until I noticed the source of them. Slowly, ever so slowly, I began to hear the majority of these infrequent little disturbances starting to come from my closet. It really didn't bother me at first, until they started happening more often. And a tad bit louder each time. And then that noise started again. My phone was on the floor. There was no way that it could produce such a noise while my phone was so far from the computer. By this time, I was a little fucking terrified. This had never happened before. Now I don't believe in the supernatural. Never did. I was just sitting there, staring at my computer screen, listening to this sound. I began to stand up and start backing towards my bed. I could hear the thumps in my closet mixing with the sounds of my heightened heartbeat. This was not normal in any way. I can't explain the terror I felt. I was absolutely panicking inside, and I have no idea why this affected me so much. The noise that my computer was emitting grew louder with every step I took towards my bed. Then, as I lay down on my bed, staring at the screen, it eerily illuminating my desk, I heard one loud final bang from my closet. Then silence. Deathly silence. I can only imagine that this is what being deaf was like. I was getting under the covers. I pulled the sheets up to just under my nose. I was just watching that screen. And then all of my windows closed. Every program I had running quit by themselves. And then Microsoft Word opened. I was freaking the fuck out. Then I saw it start. It was rhythmic and slow-paced. Each letter, typed perfectly in sync, never off the beat. I could read the text from my bed. In all lowercase it read, "Open the door, Daniel." I looked at my closet. It was still silent. And then when I looked at the screen again, it had changed. "Open the door or I will do it for you, Daniel." Now I'm under my covers, it's pitch black. It's silent, except for my weeping. I'm keeping my eyes closed. No matter what happens, I'm staying under here. I'm not going to look around. I'm going to stay here in the fetal position, my tears soaking the sheets. And now as I finally stop crying, I finally open my eyes. My red sheets are there to greet my gaze. I sit there listening for anything to interrupt the silence. Then I hear the door creak open.